Alrighty, Armchair Engineer 85, here we go. If you guys have a QRS clutch, like a secondary clutch, and you want to replace the rollers inside, or in the case of this clutch here, you can see I've got this bend. I explained it in my last video for my 2020 Renegade XRS that this inner sheave is bent and I need to replace it, which I did find a replacement. But if you need to disassemble that for one of the other things, I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, BRP does make a special tool here that feeds in here and clamps down on this helix, and then you can basically back the spring off easy. But there was a gentleman on YouTube, and he made a video very short and sweet, and it's kind of buried. It was hard to find, but I found it, and it's from about 8 years ago. And he basically used 2 bolts, 2 washers, and 2 nuts. Basically, what I did was I went to Home Depot here and I picked up these 8mm bolts, 8 millimeters by 1.25 thread pitch. I believe these are 30 millimeters long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate to you how to use these 2 bolts. First thing I'm going to do is, though, this was the longest thread length that I could get. I'm going to go get my tap and die, and I'm going to lengthen the threads here on these so that I have more obviously more thread to play with. So this is my grip tap and die set, and you can see here I've got a 8 by 1.25 in it, so I'm going to use that plus one of these tools here, and I'm going to put this in the vise and we're going to add some threads. Okay, give her a little shot here of liquid wrench, and away we go. All right, so that's how much I added, and that should be more than enough to bottom out and then have a jam nut on here so that I can back off the spring. So now I'm going to do the same with this one. I just took my time, took less than 5 minutes, and then I just kept giving it periodic sprays of liquid wrench or some type of a lubricant so that it didn't break the tap or the die. Okay, so there's four of these bolts here. They are T40 Torx. So what I already did was I went ahead and I applied heat to all 4 and I cracked them all loose. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 out. I'll probably take this one and I'll take this one, and then I'm going to leave these 2 in, and then I will put my bolts through these 2. So both my bolts are in. I went back and I added some more threads. I just wanted to make sure I didn't literally sell myself short for threads when I'm backing these out, but they're both in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go crack these open, take the remaining 2 Torx out, and these will hold the spring tension. All 4 are out. And now I'm going to take my 13mm wrench and I'm just going to start backing this off. So I'm just going back and forth, loosening off each jam nut, trying to keep them equal so that there's no binding. And as you can see here, the helix is starting to let off. So the helix is basically right off right now. All I'm doing is basically, instead of the jam nut, now I'm just finishing it off and I'm just loosening it. It's so loose it's by hand. And I'm just going to put my hand here and grab this so everything, the spring and any of the washers and nothing falls out. There we go, easy peasy. You can see my rollers. If you guys ever have to replace your rollers, there you go. Like I said, for me, I got to replace this sheave here. So these are all backed off. There's my new one. So I'm going to switch this out. I'm going to put the new one in. Okay, second verse, just like the first. I got my replacement sheave on here. Here's my old one. I went off the, I made a reference mark here. You can see the arrow. So 1, 2, second fin in. So when I took the new one here, I did the same thing. I went 1, 1, 2, the second fin, and I lined it up here with all the index markings. So there you go. So I got these 2 in here. Best advice I can give you is, well, I'm glad I did. I went back and added more threads. You could go the whole distance of this if you wanted to. More threads, the better. So anyways, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to start backing these in, and yeah, we're going to tighten these sheaves up, and then I can start installing the old bolts. So these bolts here with my wrench, I ran these bolts, obviously using the bolt head. I ran them all the way down till they were completely seated. You can see here that it's tightened up a bit, but there's still some space. So now I take the jam nuts and I start turning them to the right, and that'll start pulling the sheaves in tight. So it almost looks like we're back to where we started. So now I'm going to put these two bolts in. I'm going to add some thread locker as per the BRP specs to the bolts. You can see the old thread locker on there. And yeah, we're going to go from there and put her back in. So I got these two snug. You can see the thread locker. Now I can remove simultaneously. I'm going to do one, like a little bit on each side, and I'm going to remove these two bolts and then finish off these two. Okay, so all four are installed. That's all there is to it. As per the BRP service manual, it calls for 23 foot-pounds of torque for these bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that. And ladies and gentlemen, here you go. $4. You can save yourself $100 to $150 depending on which tool you pick and where you buy it. Yeah, easy. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. All right, Armchair Engineer 85, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you later.